Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally sharing my 2026 reading journal setup, and this one has been a long time in the making. This is going to be a slower, cozy, very detailed video where I walk you through every spread, every section, and all the little design choices that went into creating a journal I'll be using all year long. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and feel free to treat this as a flip through you can watch at your own pace. Let's get into the setup. Before we get into the setup, I want to quickly share the journal I'll be using for all of 2026 because I'm completely obsessed with it. I chose the A5 Moonlight Melody dot grid notebook in green from Tifosi. It has this stunning vegan leather cover with the moon, bird, and floral design finished with gold foil and embossing, and the back cover is just as beautiful and playful. Inside, there are 190 numbered pages of 160 GSM premium dot grid paper, which makes it perfect for both structured spreads and creative journaling without worrying about bleed through. I am an affiliate for Tifosi, so if you'd like to pick one up for yourself, you can use my discount code PJ10 to get 10% off. I'll have that link down below. Now, let's get into the full 2026 reading journal setup. The very first page I'm setting up is my cover page. I wanted to use this image I created of myself wearing a witchy hat and holding a book. It's the same image I've been using across all of my socials, so it felt really meaningful to bring that into my journal as well. I absolutely love the colors and how it turned out, but I will say I printed it a little bit bigger than I originally planned, so it ended up taking up more of the page than I expected. To fill up a little bit of the blank space behind it, I ended up using this cloud washi tape from Journal Say. It gives the image a little bit more of a frame and ties everything together. I originally wanted to use the square stickers from a Journal Say sticker book, but turns out that they weren't really cut through properly, so I couldn't really remove them as stickers, so I kind of gave up. Instead, I ended up using these tabs from Simply Gilded to just write out 2026. I wasn't a huge fan of how this turned out, so I kind of cut them out to make it a little bit smaller. But when I was trying to remove the upper part, it kind of took away some of the image of the photo and it ripped. So I needed to figure out a way to kind of cover that up. So I ended up putting more of the cloud pet tape on top of it. And this was my very first spread for the journal. I wasn't as huge of a fan as I thought I was going to be originally, and so I figured I was going to create another cover page, which included a quote as well in it. In all of my previous reading journals, I've always had a quote page, and so I figured this would be it. I saw this gorgeous image on Pinterest of a book with dragons, and I decided to replicate it in my actual journal. And I love how it turned out, especially the little dragon. I wanted this page to feel very whimsical and very fairy tale-like, and kind of like an introduction to most of the books that I do end up reading, which is in the fantasy genre. To stick with the fairy tale vibes, the quote that I decided to use for this year is, "Once upon a time, there was a girl who loved to read." And I thought it was very fitting because, yeah, I love to read. And this is going to be my little magical journal. I'm using my micron fine liner for sketching out the book. I believe this one is the 03 number. Now, after I finished drawing out everything with my micron, I was really struggling with what the best way to paint out and color in the image would be. And so I was debating between using my Tombows, gouache, Posca markers, watercolor. I ended up going with the Tombow dual brush pens just because it felt like easier, but I feel like this would have looked very cool with gouache as well. I'm just not super experienced in gouache painting, so I didn't want to mess it up, and so I just stuck it with the Tombows instead. For the pages, I ended up using 2 different Tombow shades, one slightly lighter and one slightly darker, just to give it a little bit of a shading to the pages itself. For the dragon, I ended up using 2 different shades of green Tombow markers. One is in the 192 color and the other in 228. For the flowers, the colors that I use from Tombow are 620 and 623. For the center of the flower, I used the yellow Tombow, but I felt like it was a bit too bright, so I just went over it with my beige Tombow color. For the stars and the moon, I ended up using my gold jelly roll, but I'm kind of running out of it right now, so it didn't have as much of an impact as I wanted to. So I decided to go over it later on with my gold watercolors. I then used my white Posca marker to draw out some details to the flowers. I felt like the page needed a border, so I decided to use this gorgeous washi tape from Marigona Sully Art. To make the image pop up a little bit from the washi tape border, I used my X-Acto knife to cut around some of the details of the dragon and the flowers. And I'm obsessed with how it came out. It looks so beautiful. The next spread that I decided to create is my index page, and I always have an index page in my reading journal. It's not really an index page, it's more like a table of contents, but to save space, I just call it index. And this is going to be where I just write down the pages where every book that I read for that year is. It's just like a quick way to also check what books I have in this journal. This is probably the simplest page that I created just because I just used some scrapbooking paper that I had laying around, and it just makes it really nice and easy. I also had this notepad from Paperminty Studio, and I used this one last year as well. It's just, I hardly ever use notepads, so I figured I would just glue it in this page. I cut it around so it looks kind of like a Dutch door. And then I just use my alphabet stamps to stamp out index. The next spread that I'm going to be creating is my book Shelfie. And I usually kind of sketch it out before I start working on it, just so I have an idea of where everything will be stored. And I've done my shelfies as a Dutch door style lately, so just want to make sure that I have enough space and I'm not cutting through the design later on. I used this washi tape from Lila Journals, kind of like a wallpaper in a sense, and it looks very pretty and it's very soft color, so you can put anything on top of it. Now, because I decided to make my shelfies a little bit rounded, I had to use an X-Acto knife and cutting board to cut around it, but I think my cutting board was a little bit too thick, so it didn't work as well as I was envisioning. I was trying to be very careful because I was worried it was going to mess up the binding of the journal if I cut through it. So if you are doing this on your own journals, just be very mindful and very careful. Now I needed to add some decoration, obviously, and so I decided to stick with the green and white colors, and I really loved this window from a pet tape that I got from London Gifties, and I thought this little ghost reading a book on a chair sticker was just stunning. I got this one from Marigona Sully Art, and it fit perfectly, and I really love how it came out. I use my Micron fine liners to draw out the actual shelves. I ended up freehanding the dome part of the shelf, even though it's not perfect. I don't have like an actual circle-y thing I could use as a mold, so I just tried my best. It's very like squiggly and like very uneven, but it works. Now, in terms of the books in the shelves themselves, I left enough space for 100 books because this year I didn't have enough space for all the books that I read in my shelf, so I just wanted to have more than I needed just in case. I originally thought I was going to use coloring pencils to color in the shelves, but I didn't really like how it looked, and so I went over it with my Tombows afterwards, and so I was just kind of like experimenting as to what colors work best. So in 2025, I decided to group my reads by month so that all of the books that I read in January, for example, had the same exact color in my shelves. And so this way I could quickly see how many I read in January versus February and so forth. And one additional detail that I added to this bookshelf that wasn't there last year is a way to keep track of what Tombow colors I use for each month, because I just want to make sure that the theme of the books kind of works out before I start putting it on paper and ruin the entire bookshelf. I then decided to kind of switch fully to using Tombows, but it didn't have the same effect as if I had colored in with a coloring pencil first and then went over it with a Tombow. So for the remaining of my shelving coloring, I did draw it out with my pencils first and then went over with the Tombows. So this year I decided to draw out these little potion bottles, and these are the ones that are going to contain the Tombow number for the month, and also I'm going to color it in that Tombow so I can quickly check what books I read for that month. To decorate the other side of the wall, I'm using some more stickers from Marigona Sully Art, and I absolutely love this little window with the cats looking outside in winter. It kind of kept the same colors with bluish and green, and yeah, I really love how it turned out. I still have some little empty space in my bookshelf, so I went around and decorating with a few different stickers here and there. Now I felt like the top layer was a little bit empty, so originally I thought I was going to use this foliage washi tape from Journal Say, but then I decided to use this washi tape from Marigona Sully Art instead, and I love the colors on it, and it fit perfectly with the theme that I was going for, which is more of that like wintry, cozy vibes. I decided to stick to more cozy, wintry colors for my 2026 Shelfie, and so these are some of the Tombows that I decided to go for. One thing that I did differently from last year is that I alternated between the shades, because last year some of the shades were very close to each other, so I couldn't really differentiate what was what. So this way, like, I'm just gonna be alternating. So this was my Shelfie for 2026. I really love how it turned out, and I cannot wait to start using it. The next spread that I'm creating is my Goodreads Goal tracker. Every year I make a goal of 54 books for myself. Almost every year I've read way more than that. And so the way that I like to do this spread is that I have my actual goal of 54 books, and then I create a little bonus section just to give myself a little pat in the back for any additional books that I read on top of it. I wanted to create a Dutch door layout similar to how I did it from last year, and so I used this gorgeous washi tape again from Marigona Sully Art. I wanted to keep the colors in the spread very similar to the bookshelf, because I will eventually color in with the same exact Tombow, so I just wanted to be more uniform. The stickers that I'm using in the spread are also from Marigona Sully Art, except for the window pet washi tape. That one is from London Gifties. For the title, I just used my Tombow Fudone Sake brush pen, and this is like perfect for lettering. If you're just getting started, it just makes it a lot easier. And then I put this frame pet tape from London Gifties on top, and I really love the golds with the blues. It works out perfectly. I used my micron fine liner to draw out the actual squares for each of my goal. And then I used my alphabet stamps to stamp out the numbers. Now this part takes forever, I'm not gonna lie. So I always like just put on a good audiobook while I create all of this. I also like penciling out first because I've always made a lot of mistakes before, so I just don't want to mess around with it. Now I accidentally stamped the number 3 backwards, but no big deal, it happens. The next spread I'm setting up is my A to Z or alphabet challenge. And the point of this challenge is to read a book that starts with each letter of the alphabet. I do this challenge every year and yet I never finish it. I feel like it's very difficult to find good books with some of the weird letters like an X or a Z and so forth. So it's still a fun challenge to participate in, but I never really aim on finishing it truly. For this entire spread, I'm using this stunning washi tape from the washi tape shop, and it has all the letters of the alphabet, which is perfect for this challenge. The washi tape that I'm using on the side is from Paper Media Studio, and I felt like it fit perfectly with the wintry theme, so I just went with it. Now, what I love the most about this washi tape shop pet tape is that it's already kiss cut, so you don't really have to cut around it or anything. They act kind of like stickers, so you can just peel and stick wherever you want. I'm so happy about this because I had an earlier version of their alphabet pet tape, and that one was not kiss cut, so you had to cut all around the letters, which was such a pain. So this just made the setup of the spread way easier. Now, I know some people mentioned on my Instagram that I had messed up the order of the alphabet letters, and at that point, I was just trying to fit them into the spread. I wasn't really paying attention or caring, honestly, about where the letters of the alphabet are. So if you are somebody that cares about the order correctly, make sure that you do that. Don't follow what I'm doing. I was just trying to fit in the letters to the best of my abilities, the way that I wanted them to stay. Now, after I stick in each letter, I tend to add a border around it, and the border is very reckless in a sense. I don't know what the good word about it is, but it's just like, I don't really think about it. I don't want it to be all uniform. I want it to be kind of like all over the place because it just makes the spread look a little bit cooler that way. This is hands down one of the most fun challenges that I do every year. So if you guys have any recommendations of books that start with those weird letters like X, Z, Q, I don't know what else, but those are like the 3 that pop up the most, leave them in the comments below. I'm very interested. Maybe like this will be the year that I would finally finish this entire challenge. Now, after I finished ending the borders, I decided to add a little bit of a deco on the side, and so I used some more stickers from that washi tape to add flowers here and there on the spread. I just wrote out the title for the spread, which is just A to Z challenge, and I use my Tombow Fudonesake for both of them. I finished the spread by adding a little bit more flower decor from that pet tape. And this was my A to Z challenge. I really love how it turned out. Like, this pet tape is perfect for it. The next one is my book bingo challenge. So originally I thought I was going to use the same exact pet tape as earlier, but I realized that these numbers and alphabet letters are a bit too big for my space in this one journal. So instead I just got rid of them and decided to use my older washi tape from the washi tape shop with the letters I was telling you earlier. But the only caveat with this one is that you have to cut yourself around the letter, so it's not like a sticker or anything, which it was no big deal for this one because there was only like 10 letters that I had to cut around. So I really like how it turned out, though. It fit perfectly in this little space. In 2025, I decided to use a new layout for my book bingo, and I really love how it turned out and how it worked for me personally, so I decided to keep the same layout for 2026. So on the right side of my journal, I'm gonna leave enough space for it to write out the names of the books that I read for each of the prompts. And so this way I can quickly see for this prompt in, let's say, B1, I read this book and so forth. In terms of the prompts, I tend to switch them up year after year. I still keep some that are similar across the years just because I really like them and it worked for me, but I shuffle them around in the bingo space. Book bingo is another one of those challenges that it's a lot of fun to make. I've never actually completely had a blacked out bingo board before, so who knows, maybe this year will be the year. To decorate the space, I'm using this sticker book from Journal Say. I really love the vintagey butterfly vibes, so I have to have at least one butterfly spread in my reading journal, so I thought this was perfect. I did realize way later on, though, that the sticker on the bottom right tends to overlap with the last prompt for my bingo. So I hope that the book I'm reading for that is a short title, because I don't know how it's gonna fit there. I didn't think that through. If you want some inspiration, the prompts that I'll be using for 2026 are as follows. Read a book about books, a banned or challenged book, a book owned for over 2 years, a book inspired by real events, a door stopper, which is any book with 700 or more pages, a book set somewhere you'd like to visit, found family, a poetry collection, a debut author, a book featuring food or cooking, finish a series, a book with a number in the title, a book that takes place at sea, a book to screen, book talk make me do it, animal sidekick, judge a book by its cover, book with one-word title, a book published before I was born, dark academia, non-fiction bestseller, translated work, strong female lead, and a villain's POV. Now the next spread that I'll be making is for my Read Around the Rainbow challenge. This is also another fun challenge where you read a book whose cover is in one of the colors of the rainbow, I guess. So for this one, I decided to use this washi tape from Simply Gilded, And normally I really love her washi tape, but this one specifically I'm kind of struggling with. Like, it kept ripping as I'm using it, which is very weird because usually her washi tape is amazing. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I got like a little bad washi tape, but I really like because it does contain books with colors from all over the rainbow. So it fit perfectly for this spread. The stickers that I'm using are from Marigona Silly Art, and I use my Tombow Fudonesake colorful pens to write out the title. I did mess up the A in read because I thought for some reason it was the D, so I elongated. But I went over with my white jelly pen and kind of erased it later on, so it was no big deal. Now for the rest of the spread, I really like the layout that I created last year, but this one is kind of like the white version of it because last year I did this entire spread in a blackout paper and it was a lot of fun. I used the neon jelly rolls, but that took forever. It took forever. So in this version, it took forever again, but I didn't use the neon jelly rolls. Instead, I used the Tombow Fudonesake brush pens. The fairy stickers are from Marigona Silly Art, and I really love how whimsical they are. And this was my spread for my Read Around the Rainbow challenge. The next two spreads that I'll be creating are about the Buzzword Readathon hosted by Books and Lala on YouTube. Now last year I did this challenge and it was a lot of fun, but I only did the title prompts version. So this year I decided to try out both of her challenges. So one is the title and then the other one is for the book covers. And each month you're supposed to read a book that contains either that word on the title or that word in the image of the cover. I do it slightly a little bit differently because I don't like being limited to each month. So the way that I do it is that throughout the year, as I read a book that contains either that word or that image on the cover, I'm just going to put it down here. So I don't want to limit myself, like in January, I can only read this prompt and so forth. I know it's not right, but this is just the way I like to do it. So for this spread, the skinny washi tape is from Simply Gilded, and the other washi tape is from the Washi Tape Shop. I used a mock-up of a book cover page to the size that I normally print out my cover pages, just to make sure that I had enough space between the prompt header and the book cover that I would paste in there. So this was my first spread for the first challenge. And then the second challenge, I decided to use these frames from London Gifties. And I used these frames this year in 2025 as well for my Buzzword Readathon. And I really like how they work. So they fit perfectly. One thing to know about these though is that because it's plastic, you can only write on top of it with a permanent marker, so like a Sharpie. So make sure that you are kind of testing it out so that it doesn't rub off, because other pens and markers that I've tried, they do rub off. So the only thing that has worked for me so far has been the Sharpie. The next spread that I'll be working on is my series tracker. And if you've been following me, I start a lot of series and I never really finish them. I think it doesn't help that I read a lot of advanced readers copies and I have to wait forever for the sequel to come out. And a lot of times I'll just forget what I've already read and whether I want to continue the series at all. So this spread is very helpful for this kind of stuff. The washi tape and the stickers that I used for this are all from Paperminty Studio. Because I read a lot of series, I do read a lot of fantasy books, so I wanted to leave enough space in this spread to have room for all of them. And that's why I decided to create a Dutch door. I filled up the empty space at the top with a few more stickers from Paperminty Studio, and I called it a day. The next spread that I'll be creating is for my books to be read spread. Now, originally, I would write down every single physical book that I own, but that number has grown immensely, and it kind of hurts writing them down year over year. So I've decided to keep a separate tiny little journal. I think it's like one of the pocket-sized journals from Marshall and Olive, which contains every single, basically like it's kind of like my inventory from my physical library. And for this TBR spread, I want to do it slightly differently so that each month I want to plan out ahead what books I want to read. And this is any book clubs, reads, any arcs that are kind of like coming up soon that I need to read by a certain date. So it's going to be more that, and it's just going to be like adding books as I go rather than like writing every single book I own up front. I wanted to create like a Dutch door effect, but kind of differently from my other Dutch doors. For this one, I wanted to create some kind of like a series of images at the top of the journal rather than on the side of the journal, if that makes sense. So yeah, I used these girls reading books. This is from a pet tape from a London Gifties. And the washi tape that I use is from Simply Gilded. I used some more pet tape from London Gifties to fill out a little bit more of the space. I wanted the theme of the spread to be kind of cute, cozy green and pinks. I really love how green and pink go together, so I chose stickers, I guess, that follow that color scheme. And this was my spread for my TBR. The next spread that I'll be creating is going to be my Hall of Fame spread. And this is where I'll put down every 5-star read that I have for that year. In the previous years, I've done like a book bracket where you pick a favorite from each month and have them compete, but that didn't really work out for me that well. So in 2025, I decided to change it so that I just have a favorite for each month. However, there are months where I do have a lot of favorites and it's very hard to pick one. And just because I don't pick it as the favorite of the favorite doesn't mean that it wasn't a good book. And so I think this spread is going to help me be better about kind of like just keeping track of every single book that I rated a 5-star for that year. So it doesn't have to be just one per month. It can be 3 per month or like 0 per month, and that's totally fine. The washi tape that I use for the spread is from Papermint Studio, the stickers as well. The alphabet pet tape is from Tailor and Design, and I really like how fun these weirdly shaped letters of the alphabet, I guess, create every spread. Now, originally I used this washi tape from Papermint Studio to put underneath the letters, but I noticed that it was kind of like peeling already, and I don't think it was very sticky, so I kind of like went over and removed everything and reset up the title all over again with a different kind of washi tape. I used my round cutting tool to cut around the page, and then I wanted to decorate the inside, I guess, where I'll be putting a lot of the book covers, but I kind of felt like it was a waste of a decor, I guess, so I removed them afterwards. This is where I realized that the header is not going to work out. So I just removed them and started all over again with a different kind of washi tape. This one worked better. It was way stickier than the other one that I used, so. And this was my Hall of Fame spread. The next spread that I created is to keep track of all of my advanced readers copies or ARCs. And this is probably my all-time favorite spread that I've ever made. In my current journal, the ARC page is just a giant table where I put down the title of the book and when it's due. And it was a little bit difficult to keep track of everything that way. Like it was hard to see what was coming up when, and so I needed a better way to organize my ARCs. So for this spread, I decided to categorize it into different months. So each month would have its own section, and I'll write down what book is coming out on that month and then the date, and then I'll have a little circle in which I'll color it in once I do finish reading it. So visually, it's easier to see how many books I have due for each month, so that if there is a month where there is a lot of books that I have to read, maybe I should stop requesting those books. And this way has worked out perfectly for me so far. I've already started using it. I know I should not be using it yet until 2026, but I couldn't help it. I really love this spread, and so it's been very functional too. In terms of the decor, the stickers that I'm using are all from Oregona Sully Art. The washi tape, I'm not sure exactly where the green one is. I've had it for a few years now and I don't remember where I got it from. I think the butterfly one is from Notebook Therapy, but don't quote me on it. Again, it's a very old washi tape. And I really love the pink and the greens together. So I figured this would make a perfect setup for the spread. I love creating waterfall tabs in my journals, but they are a little bit complicated sometimes when you add additional designs on the sides. So you need to figure out a better way to kind of fill up the empty space since I cannot use the same sticker twice. So I just cover it up with more washi tape. This frame sticker is from a Journal Say sticker pack, and I really like how it gives a little bit of the green and purple vibes to it. So I left enough space in the spread to keep track of all of the books that were due in 2025 and I just hadn't finished them yet. There are a lot of them. Then I'm also going to have another section in the end for any 2027 releases. Now, I felt like the spread was a little bit too wide, and so I thought it'd be cool to have a little pattern on the boxes for each of the months. And so I used washi tape to help me paint out, I guess, straight lines with my tombos. And I created this little grid, and it looks so cool. I alternated between yellow, green, and pink. It took forever, but it's so worth it. It brings such joy to my life whenever I look at it. I then use my alphabet stamps to stamp out arcs. I added a little bit more decor from this sticker sheet from Oregona Sully Art, and I'm obsessed. This is probably hands down my favorite spread that I've ever made. The next few spreads that I'll be creating are for my book club's picks. I'm currently in 3 different book clubs. One is my local town book club, just like generic, I guess, books, theme. Another book club is for sci-fi, and then another one is for my smut besties. I use this gorgeous washi tape from the washi tape shop that they sent me recently from their winter release to create this Dutch door effect. I love that this washi tape is all kiss cut, so you can use all of it as stickers and you can layer them and do whatever you want with them. And so it creates this very cool image. Now, I left enough space under each of the book club spreads for 12 books in each page, so 1 per each month. I then use my round cutting tool to cut around the sides. I use the same frames from London Gifty Pet Tape to write out the names for each of my book clubs, just so that I have them. Now, when I first created this journal, I kind of created spreads here and there without actually going in a chronological order. And so I left a lot of space by accident. I thought I needed that much space between spreads. So between this book club spread and my next spread, there are 2 empty pages that I don't know yet what I'm gonna do and use them for, but I'm just gonna keep them as blank for now until I figure out a use case for them later on in the year. The next spread is my social media tracker spread, and this is where it helps me see the growth that I've had in my social channels year over year. For this year, I decided to make it kind of like a beehive theme. I had this stencil of a beehive and I thought it would look cool to just create it, and it was very easy to set up. The skinny washi tapes are from Simply Gilded, and the sunflower washi tape, that is from the washi tape shop. The headers are frames from a London Gifties pet tape. And again, it's important to use a permanent marker whenever you write on top of these, so I'm just using my Sharpie. This year, I'm so grateful because I've seen such an amazing growth on my socials from you guys. So thank you so much for following me and actually engaging with my content. It means so much. I never thought that whenever I create the spreads, it would affect other people too. So it's been so nice seeing you replicate some of these spreads and all of your kind words. So thank you so much. If you're only seeing this video for the very first time and you've never heard of me before, please consider subscribing either to my YouTube channel or my other social media. I will link them all down below. It really helps a lot. So thank you so much again. The last spread that I'll be creating for this journal setup is my DNF page. And I've never had one of these pages before. I tend to always commit to a book once I read it. It's very difficult for me to DNF a book, and I feel like I need to be better about it. If a book is just not bringing me joy, it's just not for me at that moment, and that's totally fine, and I need to change my mindset to actually believe that. And so I'm hoping that by having this spread, it will help me put down and just stop reading a book if it's just not for me at that point in time. I had this very beautiful scrapbooking paper that I got on sale at Michael's during Halloween time, and so I thought that would fit perfect to create a little graveyard. And I designed these little gravestones in Canva, and I just printed them on sticker paper. The stickers that I'm using are from Coco Daisy. I think this was one of her Halloween packs a few years ago. And that's my full 2026 reading journal setup. This journal already feels so personal, and I'm really excited to spend the next year filling these pages with stories, notes, and little moments from my reading life. If you watch all the way through, thank you so much for being here. I know this was a longer video, and it truly means a lot. If you enjoyed this setup, don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to let me know in the comments what you're planning for your own 2026 reading journal, or what kind of reading videos you would like to see next. I will try to have everything linked below together with discount codes if I can. I hope this video gave you a little inspiration or a moment of calm, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy reading and happy journaling!